Welcome to day three, our third and final day of the Success Amplification Challenge. How are we feeling after yesterday? Was it crazy to approach creating success through the lens of how we feel? I know this is probably a very foreign concept if you've never done this work before. I'm so excited to introduce this to you. I hope this has been super helpful. And let's just recap from yesterday. What is the number one success generating feeling? Did you know? Did you know? Let's see how much you paid attention, right? Certainty is our master attraction energy. So if you take away anything from this challenge, I want it to be how to feel certain in yourself, how to like you ground your belief in yourself in certainty, how to create trust through the lens of certainty. Because once again, your confidence is going to be inevitable. Your success is going to be inevitable once we start approaching everything through the lens of certainty. Okay, so in our final day together, are you ready to bring this all home? We are going to wrap all this work up in a beautiful bow, and this is going to be your gift to yourself. I'm so proud of you for making it to this point. I know I've given you a lot to work with. Once again, please come back to these videos, take so many notes, because at every level, you're going to come back and this is going to be a different experience. You're going to be like, oh yeah, I mastered that. Oh, I forgot about that, right? So I want you to come back to these videos, come back to the day one visualization. These are always here to support you. Okay. Today, we are going to be really focusing on my favorite thing, which is action. So we're going to be developing your confident action plan to create success inevitability. So we've talked so much about success inevitability thus far. This is where we're going to wrap this all up and really bring it all together. Because once again, success is 80% mindset, 20% action. So we've done a lot of the mindset portion to begin with, and now we're going to ground this all in with action. So what does success inevitability actually mean? This is certainty that it is happening. Once again, we're bringing back that C word, the certainty. It's a very different C word. And another C word that's out there, right? So you believe your success is unavoidable. You are just the woman who does successful things, who creates success, who runs into success everywhere she goes. That's just what you do. And that level of certainty running through you is your success guarantee. So we get into that done energy that we've talked so much about. You know who you are once it's done. You know what your life looks like once it's done. And you're 100% certain that your success is happening. So certain that you believed it's just unavoidable. Like literally, you're going to crash into it every single day. Wouldn't that be so fun to just wake up every single day and crash into your success? I love that. Like, I think that is such a beautiful way to think about success. It's everywhere you go. It's just like air. It's unavoidable that your air around you is going to touch you, right? Imagine if that was all of your success and you're just navigating, you're breathing it in, you're exhaling it. It's just in you. It's around you. This is where I want you to take that certainty that success is just happening. You are the woman that is successful. Really sink into that as your self-image. Start trying that on, because for a lot of us, when we start thinking about doing this work from a self-image standpoint, and your self-image is just your thoughts and beliefs about yourself. So who you think you are, right? So when you start thinking about who you think you are and you really start trying that on like an outfit, like I'm a successful woman, like how do I feel in this outfit? How do I feel in this self-image? It is such a fun way to play with this from a mindset standpoint, right? Okay. So I want to ask you, if in this case you were already in the belief that you are a successful woman, that you just create success everywhere you go, that you're running into it, it's unavoidable, all of those things, you're living your most successful life, where would you stop doubting yourself right now? What was that? What does that look like, right? Like, what is the first thing that came to mind? I know something just popped in where you're like, oh, I'd stop doing that. What is that? Write it down. What fears would you let go of? What just crept in and was like, hey, remember, I'm scared of you, right? Write that down. And where would you stop comparing yourself to other people, right? So maybe it's somebody that's farther ahead of you. Maybe it's somebody who has what you want right now. Maybe it's somebody who looks a certain way. Maybe it's your family member, your sister. Maybe your parents said, oh, she's the golden child, right? And you're the black sheep, right? Like who is it that you're comparing yourself to? Because comparison is such a beautiful tool to show you what you really want. So what does that person that you are comparing yourself to have that you want right now? Write it down. And what would you change? And what would change for you if you truly believed in your core that success was happening? Would you just start doing the damn thing? Would you just wake up every single morning and you're like, I'm going to take one step today. I don't even care what it is. Would you just let go of the timing? Would you let go of the pressure? Would you let go of the fears and the doubts? Would you start surrounding yourself with more successful people who are already where you want to be? That's one of my number one things that I do to create success for myself is I see the most successful person in the room and that's who I go talk to. And I build relationships with those people because they're going to teach me what I need to know because they've already done it. They're already there. So they're going to offer me those golden nuggets, that wisdom, someone that's just going to give me the most beautiful support along my way. And people are so willing to help. This is the beautiful world that we live in. If you ask somebody, hey, I'm trying to create this result, like, how did you do it? Share whatever you know with me. People are going to help you. So ask, right? This whole challenge, you have me as your coach, and you all have been coming hard into the inbox with all sorts of questions, all sorts of things you want coaching on. And I am so proud of you for that. Keep that coming. You have me as your coach for email support through this whole entire challenge. So take advantage of that while it's available to you. Okay. And I want you to think about, if you knew, what doubts you would let go of, what fears you would let go of, what comparisons you would stop making, what you would change if you truly believe that success was happening, who would you be as you took each step? We're going to get crystal clear on that today, because this is going to be pivotal for you, knowing who you want to be as you get to your destination. And how is that different than how you show up when you take action now? So we're going to get crystal clear there too, right? So I want you to think about the success list that you made on day one. So successful me does and successful me doesn't. Because if you've done that exercise, which my hope for you is that you have, because that's going to be so valuable in today's conversation and moving forward, is you're already going to know the answer to this question. You're already going to know, yeah, I'm not doubting myself over here. I'm not feeding this fear, whatever it is, right? So I want you to make sure you've done that, because that's going to be your accountability checklist as we go into the phase of taking action. Okay. So 2 things you need to know about creating success inevitability. It is going to require 2 very specific things from you. Once again, here's that specificity word again, right? So the first thing success inevitability is going to require from you is a different conversation with yourself in your head. The second thing success inevitability is going to require from you is you have to let go of the how and the when. And if those 2 things you're like, wait, what? Let's dive into this so I can contextualize what I mean by each of these points. So let's start off with why you need to start having a different conversation with yourself. So let's talk about the dialogue that you have with yourself on a day-to-day basis. How is your conversation with you every single day? What is happening in your mind, in that beautiful brain of yours? How do you talk to yourself? And what is your relationship like with your inner mean girl? Because we always have one. Every single one of us on this earth has one. I named mine Sasha because she is like Beyonce's alter ego, Sasha Fierce. She comes in on my brain hot, and she is nasty, and she wants to take me down. And just when I'm on the brink of something remarkable, she's like, hey, remember when you failed? Hey, remember when you fell flat on your face? Hey, remember when you got rejected? She reminds me of all of those things. But I take the microphone away from Sasha. She does not get real estate in my brain, because I'm not going to let my inner mean girl stop me from going where I want to go. So what is the relationship that you have with your inner mean girl? I encourage you to really start creating awareness there, because for me, once I named her, it helped me just to separate like this itty bitty shitty committee that is in my brain that is occupying space. I'm like, yeah, we're not going to do that today, right? And I just don't give any sort of energy to her. I don't feed her. I don't entertain her. I just keep it moving. I'm like, yeah, you can be there. You can talk your shit. I'm not going to listen to you, right? So picture if you have somebody, like if you're on stage and somebody in the audience, you have a heckler that's just like, yeah, you suck. You're not going to make it. It's the same thing as your inner mean girl, right? So you get to choose whether you engage with her or whether you take away her microphone and silence her and don't give her any more attention. So I want you to think about, if you were to name your inner mean girl, what would you name her? Just out of curiosity. And I want you to think about, this is something that I offer the women that I work with. If we were to do a mindset evaluation right now, if we were to look at, if this pie chart was your brain, right? How much percentage of the day are you speaking positively to yourself, and how much are you speaking negatively and letting that inner mean girl really take over in your mind? If you were to fill this chart out for yourself and actually say, right, so I want to see what your breakdown is. So would it be something to where you are living in a space where, let's say 70% of the time is negative, and the other time is 30% positive? Because this is going to show you such a great opportunity. And this is why I have every single woman that I work with start off with this 5-day mindset study. You literally do the same thing. And I have them actually see what are the positive thoughts and what are the negative thoughts, because the positive thoughts are going to feed your success at the highest level. So we want to be really crystal clear on what those thoughts are and what feeling it's creating in your body. So that way we can start tapping into that space, because those are going to be your success generating feelings. We know after yesterday, all the feelings that aren't success generators, right? We know certainty is the number one success generating feeling, but you're going to have things like confidence, motivation, optimism, proactivity, resourcefulness, right? All of these different elements that come in that really fuel you at a high level. For me, a big generator for my success is fun and joy and satisfaction, right? Those are big drivers for me. So I really am intentional about thinking thoughts that produce those feelings because then my success once again is inevitable. So for you, if we were to do this breakdown right now, no judgment here. Once again, we don't do the shame and judgment game. Where are you at with your mindset right now? I want you to answer this question for yourself because this is going to show us a lot going into this phase. Okay. When you look in the mirror, what do you say to yourself? Are you championing the version of you that you see staring back at you? Or are you like, ugh, you're disgusting. You're ugly. Oh, look at those wrinkles. Oh, you could never put yourself out there because you're old. And look how old you look, right? Are you having that type of dialogue with yourself? Or are you looking in the mirror in the morning and starting off your day with like, damn girl, get it. You're gonna get it. You look so good. I'm so proud of you. Like we're gonna kill it. Are you doing the Mel Robbins like high five yourself in the mirror? I love that exercise. I think it's so fun. What do you have in terms of a dialogue with yourself? Because every single day when we start off the day, we're setting the tone for what our day is going to look like based upon what we're saying to ourselves when we look in the mirror. So when we're getting ready, or are you avoiding the mirror altogether? Are you in that space? Because I have a lot of women that I work with that do that, right? So I want you to know we all have a greatest hits album of shitty thoughts that have played on repeat for most of our life, right? And most of these thoughts are not our own. They are things that people offered us. They are things that people handed us along the way. Maybe it's like, you're lazy, you're fat, you're ugly, you're worthless, you're not capable. These little shitty thoughts, you're not good enough, you're stupid, whatever it is, right? And then what ends up happening is we implant these things because by the time, we're in our childhood when these things are offered to us, and then we don't have the emotional know-how or maturity or tools to actually understand. We don't have to take on people's beliefs about us, right? But for so many of us, we just see those things as true. I know that was my reality where all of my bullies who said horrible things to me, that just became how I thought about myself. And until I did this personal development work and this mindset work, I didn't understand that I had the power to let go of those beliefs. And those beliefs were never mine in the first place. I've always loved myself. I've always thought I was amazing. It was everybody else that had a problem with me. I just took on all their beliefs and I'm like, well, if everyone's saying this to me, I guess it's got to be true. Maybe I was just wrong about myself, right? So, what are those thoughts that play on your greatest hits album on repeat? And I want you to get super micro with this and see, okay, when I think to myself, I'm not good enough, what feeling does that produce in your body? Then, when you feel that way, what are you doing or not doing? And then, what result is that creating for you, right? So, this is why it is vital to get clear on this greatest hits album. Because when your inner mean girl is coming in hot and she is just in your face and she is yelling at you and saying all the nasties and she is just self sabotaging and self assaulting and character assassinating you, right? This is going to produce some terrible feelings. They're never going to produce the results that we want in our life. Once again, like we said yesterday, the only thing standing in the way of the success you want to feel or that you want to create is a feeling you don't want to feel. So when your inner mean girl's in there in your head saying 70% of your day nasty, nasty things, of course you're not going to be producing the results that you want. Of course you're not going to be going big and going for it because your inner mean girl's going to be like, yeah, if you do that, you're going to fail. Who the hell do you think you are to do that, right? And always talking you back into your safe comfort zone, putting you in a box and being like, nope, don't go there. Right? So we've got to be intentional about this because for so many of us, we have between 6,000 and 60,000 thoughts a day. So if you're an overthinker, imagine if 70% of those 60,000 thoughts are negative. Big, big thing to have awareness on, right? So I want you to think about if you were in a place where you were already your most successful self, right? We're going to take this to the place of done energy. You're living your most successful life. What would you say to yourself every day? When you woke up, would you say to yourself, like, yeah, girl, you got this. I'm so proud of you. You're going to kill it today. Whatever you want to do, the world is your oyster, right? Like, what type of dialogue would you start the day with? How would you champion yourself? How would you have your own back? How would you cheer yourself on and keep yourself going and really going through that positive self talk to keep yourself going and moving forward when the times get tough? Because they're going to. That is life. Life is 50-50. We talked about this, right? So, I want to give you an example because when I went through a period where I lost 55 pounds, this was the first time I actually ever had success when it came to losing weight. And it was because this was 100% attributed to the relationship that I had with doing hard things and the things that I said to myself in my brain every single day. Because for the first time in my life, I actually started fighting for myself versus talking myself out of doing whatever it is that I wanted to do. I was really good at doing that before. I'd be like, oh, going to the gym, and I'd sit there and overthink it for like 2 hours. And then I'd be so exhausted from overthinking that I could never get the energy to actually get in my car and go to the gym. So I talk myself out of it versus talking myself into it. So when I started my weight loss journey, I knew when I got my head right, my body would follow. And I started hiking a lot. I knew I wanted to be outside and I wanted to have this feeling of getting to the top of the mountain. There was something so attractive about being the woman who could get to the top of the mountain. So that became very attractive to me. So when I first started, Oh man, that Sasha, she was so nasty to me. I would start going up the mountain and she'd be like, "Fat ass, how'd you let yourself get to this point? Like you're disgusting. You should be able to keep up with all those other people. You need to push yourself harder. You need to go, keep up. Why are you out of breath? You're so lazy. You're not as good as them. You're a failure." And then all of a sudden I would start thinking like, "Oh my God, I can't do this." And I would like push myself too fast to try to keep up with the people that I was going with who had been doing this for a long time. And the next thing you know, I'm like out of breath. I feel like I'm going to die, and then I would quit. So when I started changing this dialogue with myself, I really started creating this loving, tender, compassionate, supportive relationship with myself in my mind first. And when I started doing this, I started hiking. And I'm like, you know what? This is hard and that's okay. I'm going to choose to make this not a problem, right? This is not a problem that is hard because I can do hard things. And I'm just going to take my time. I'm going to take as many breaks as I need to because I'm committed to getting up this damn mountain because I'm the woman that gets up the damn mountain no matter how long it takes me. I don't need to be first. This is not a race. I just need to find the pace that works for me. And all I need to do is finish. I can do this. And then every time I would start to get to the point where my brain would say I can't, because that happened a lot in the beginning. I had to keep overriding the idea of this habitual thinking of quitting, right? Because that was my narrative. That was my greatest hits album, was quitting. I always talked myself into quitting. I was a professional quitter on myself, and it felt terrible to quit on myself. And then I would beat myself up. I would shame. I would go eat my feelings. No wonder why I got to over 200 pounds, right? So I got into this place where instead of saying like, you can't do this, you can't do this, I'd be like, this is really hard and that's okay. And I would just repeat it over and over and over as many times as I needed to get up that damn mountain. And I would say, I've got this. Oh God, this is really hard. I don't know if I can do this. You know what? Take one more step. One more step. That's only one step. Only focus on the one step ahead of you. Okay, you made that step. You can do the next. You can do the next. This is also how I got through labor. Because let me tell you, any of you that have been through labor, whew, that's like living in a second to second vortex. The hardest thing I've ever done in my life, right? And the result that I created for myself, having this dialogue and this relationship with myself, was I finished and I got up to the mountain and then I started hiking all the time and I lost 55 pounds, right? So, what are the sentences that you need to have in your mind with yourself that need to flow in your greatest hits album? Like, how can we reprogram your greatest hits album to include sentences that keep you in the pattern of finishing, following through, and creating the success you desire versus quitting on yourself or feeding the fear or leaning into the doubt or feeling low on self confidence, right? So, what is that dialogue for you? Because if you're thinking things like, I can't, you're always going to feel defeat. If you're thinking things like, I don't know how, you're always going to feel uncertainty and confusion. If you're thinking things like, how is this going to happen? You're always going to feel pressure. If you were thinking, who am I to do this? You're always going to think, oh God, I need to start like playing small. I need to like, oh my God, here's the doubt coming in. Like, oh God, I'm an imposter, right? If you're thinking to yourself, I need more information before I start, you're always going to be disempowered. You're always going to be thinking the answers outside of you versus trusting yourself to know and trusting yourself to get started. If you're thinking to yourself, I'm not ready, you're always going to be feeling that uncertainty. It's going to block you from moving forward. If you're thinking to yourself, I'm not good enough, this is always going to produce insecurity. If you're thinking to yourself, I need it to be perfect, you're always going to produce pressure, right? So a lot of these thoughts are protection mechanisms designed to keep you safe from failing, from being judged, from looking stupid, from being embarrassed, right? That's what perfectionism is. That's what overthinking is. That's what procrastination is. So, and also people pleasing. These are all protection mechanisms designed to keep us safe in our brain from feeling a feeling that we don't want to feel. So now that you know that, I want you to think of these thought swaps that I'm going to offer you that you can literally replace and reprogram in your mind when these type of thoughts come in. So when your brain offers you up, I can't, I want you to think instead, I can and I will. I will figure it out, right? Or think about, here are all of the ways that I can. Because when you start getting into that place, once again, now we're stepping back into success inevitability. So when you think to yourself, I don't know how, I want you to think to yourself, I am the woman who can figure it out. I am capable. And here's what I need to learn, right? Because that instantly shifts you back into an empowered state of living. When you think to yourself, how's this going to happen? I want you to just say, I trust. When you think to yourself, who am I to do this? I am that bitch. I am that bitch who does that. Yes, I am, right? And don't make any apologies for being that woman. When you think to yourself, I need more information, I trust that I will learn everything I need to know along the way. Okay, when you think to yourself, I'm not ready, being ready is a decision. I know, terrible, right? So I want you to think to yourself, I am deciding to be ready because I'm done waiting and I'm done procrastinating and keeping distance in between me and my success. When you think to yourself, I'm not good enough, I need you to know something about being good enough. We were all born good enough. If you think of a little baby, a little 1 week old baby, do you ever look at that baby and think that baby's not good enough? No. So why do you think that about yourself as an adult? The only thing that has changed along the way is your belief in your enoughness. And the only person that can recapture that belief and really start building that belief is you. So I don't want you to be in a place where you're constantly subtracting. Oh, there's another not enoughness monster coming in, knock myself down some more. No, you were born enough and nobody can take that away from you except for you. So when your brain says you're not good enough, I want you to think I was born good enough and nobody can take away my enoughness. Right? I've done enough today. I am enough today. And for any of us as women, this is another exercise I give to the women that I work with inside the CAN program. When their brain serves them up, I didn't do enough today. I know you did enough today. I want you to write down everything you did starting from the second you woke up until the second that you went to bed. And if you're a mom and you're working and you're a wife and you're like, for me, I'm a caretaker for my parents, I'm running a business. I want you to write down everything you did because there's going to be thousands of things on that list and you are going to blow your own damn mind. And that is going to be so much evidence to overpower the thought and the belief I didn't do enough today. I should have done more, right? Because once again, remember what should means, shame and judgment. No shaming and judging yourself. You did enough today, period. Not dot, 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 not question mark, right? Period. You did enough today. Now, when you think to yourself, I need to make it more perfect. For all you perfectionists out there, this might be a really hard mindset to sink into, but this is going to change your life. Good enough is good enough. I want progress, not perfection, because that's what's going to keep you going. You're not going to be sitting there in front of your computer, perfecting everything, losing hours of your life because you're just going to trust that good enough is good enough and it will become perfect along the way. Okay. So that is where we talk about the importance of this relationship that you have with yourself in your mind, the conversations that you're having with yourself in your mind. It all starts with your brain. It all starts with having that secure, confident relationship with yourself to be able to say, you know what, inner mean girl, shut the F up. I'm not doing this with you today. Instead, I'm going to champion myself. I'm going to be my own inner cheerleader. Yes, I'm a badass. I've got this. I know what to do next. I've got the right people around me. I'm going. Get out of my way. That's where I want to see you living with that relationship with yourself because it all starts with you. It's you against you. Your competition is not anybody else. Your competition is you. It is what you're feeding your brain. It is your habits. It is how you feel about yourself. It's what you say to yourself when you look in the mirror. It's what you think is possible for yourself. That's your true competition. It's nobody else. You're in a game of one, my friend. So stop looking outside of you. It all starts from within. This is why I do this work with women. When I started changing my whole entire perspective and looking purely at my inner world and the relationship that I had with myself, everything in my life changed, and the same thing will happen for you. Okay. All right, now let's talk about point number 2 of what you need to do to make sure your success is inevitable. And that is letting go of the how and the when. And you're like, but Elise, I need to know how and when. And yes, you're right. You do need to know how and when. And we'll get to that in a second. But I want to talk about why we've got to start this process by releasing the how and the when. Okay, how and when is going to equal pressure and control. You're never going to get where you want to go when you're trying to pressure yourself to get there and you're trying to control every single aspect of the process, right? Have you ever been micromanaged before? Horrible, right? Horrible feeling. That's essentially what so many of us do when we're like, but how and when? Okay, but how is this going to happen? When is this going to happen? Is it going to happen today? Is it going to happen tomorrow? And you're micromanaging every single detail of the process. That takes you out of done energy because when you're in done energy, you're not worried about the how and the when because it's already happening. When you go into the place of looking at the what and the why, this is going to profoundly shift things for you because thinking to yourself, like, what can I do about this? What do I want? That's going to put you into alignment and clarity. And when you think about why, that's going to help you with certainty because you're going to be so grounded in your truth and so clear on why you're doing what you do. So I want you to start retraining your brain every time it's like, but how, right? To be like, what am I doing and why am I doing this? Because that's always going to put you back into done energy. This came up for me a lot when I started my business, and I wish I knew about this mindset shift when I first started because I was constantly like, but how is this going to happen? When am I going to sign my first client? When am I going to host my first event? But when am I going to launch my podcast? Da, 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 da. And I literally for a year did nothing. I just spun out in this pressure and was constantly like, but should I? Da, 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 like just horrible, chaotic way of operating. So when you are in that place, and this is what I want to really kind of separate, right? When you are in that place of being in that frantic how, you're going to feel that in your body and it's going to feel ugly. It is going to feel uncontrollable. It's going to feel chaotic. It's going to feel like you are just like, oh my God, I'm flailing. That's how you're going to know if you're in the unhealthy how. When you get to the place, because I know you're probably thinking, Elise, but how do I like, but literally, how do I do this? Right. So when it comes to actually making decisions and setting your plan, which we're going to do in a second, and getting into that place of saying, when do I want to do this? Yes, you're going to say, how am I going to do this? And you're going to write that down. And that's going to be a very different thing because then you're just looking at the facts and that's going to feel very grounded because it's just like making a roadmap. And then you're going to set a date in which you want to do it by. And that date may or may not happen, right? Like I used to manage timelines and budgets for multi-million dollar Fortune 500 founder companies. There were so many times that no matter how perfect the timeline was, no matter how aligned the whole entire team was, those deliverables weren't hit. That launch didn't happen on time. So it's never going to be 100% perfect, but you've got to have a target to shoot towards. You've got to have an end date in mind. And whether that's, plus or minus a certain amount of time, that's okay. At least you have a target, right? So that's going to feel super secure and super certain when you set those points versus being in the place of just feeling so out of control. You're going to feel the difference in your body. So yes, you're going to have a how and when, but it's going to be a very different feeling in your body and you'll know the difference. Trust me, when you get there, you're going to be like, "Oh, that's what Elise was talking about." You will feel it because there's going to be one that feels very out of control and there's going to feel one that feels very certain and secure. You will feel it, okay? So when you're in that done energy, you're going to be in that secure certainty. That's how you're going to know you're in done energy because you're like, yeah, cool, it's happening, right? So the reason why we have got to let go of the how, and once again, this is the hardest part, and I get it. Recovering control freak type A over here. I really want to know the how, right? When I first did this, I was like, oh, I don't like the way this tastes again, right? So this is one of the hardest things for us to wrap our minds around, especially when you love being in control. So when we get into that place of letting go of the how, this is why it's critical, is you're never going to know the how until you've already done it. You're never going to know how it's actually going to work out until you do the damn thing. You're never going to have all the answers ahead of time to make it happen until you actually do it. Instead, you just need to trust that it's going to happen, that you're going to figure it out along the way because you're the woman who makes it happen. You're the woman who always gets what she wants. I'm the woman that's in charge of my success. So when you get into that place and get in that done energy, the how becomes irrelevant, right? Because it's just happening. When you try to control the how, it's going to spin you out every time. Once again, you don't want to micromanage yourself in your mind and be the micromanager of your life. That's never going to get you where you want to go. So living in that done energy and just holding yourself accountable for being the version of you who really believes it's happening, it's already done, I've got this, I'm in control of this, right? You're going to get there so much faster. This is the faster way. And there's so much less mind drama in this way of doing. You're going to get into this place where if you resist doing it this way, you're going to lose a lot of energy because you're going to be trying to control things and you're going to be trying to get into this place. And you're going to guarantee that it's going to take you so much longer to get there and it's going to feel so much harder and more painful to get where you want to go. So this is why we've got to let go of the how and the when. So when your brain wants to get lost in the how and have so much drama about how am I going to make this happen for myself, but how am I going to do this, right? Come back to the why and the what. This is a strong why, and the what is a very powerful inner compass. This is your North Star that is going to keep you going into alignment on your path. It's going to keep you going when that discomfort goes to a level 10, because what happens when we have too much discomfort and we don't know how to manage that? We quit, right? That's what we talked so much about yesterday. So this is going to help you move through that discomfort versus quitting on yourself. So think of all of the companies that have a strong why and a very clear vision of where they want to go, and they know what they're doing. They're successful. The same thing is going to happen for you. So when I think of my why, which is helping thousands of women all across the world feel more confident in life and business, because not on my watch am I going to sit back and watch another woman go to the top without the tools that she needs, right? And do insecure business and do insecure life and live this life of low self-confidence and always doubting herself and getting in her own way and not living her best life. That is a very clear why for me. I know exactly how to show up. I know exactly what to offer you. I know exactly how to help you get there. This is why thousands of women's lives have changed, because my why is very clear and I'm very successful in doing that. So that is my success guarantee. I know exactly where I'm going. I know exactly how to help you, right? So what is your why? Why do you want to do what you want to do? All of your wants are valid. So why do you want what you want? I don't want you to go into that place of serving up the answer, I don't know. Right. So if you want to make a certain amount of money, why do you want to make that amount of money? How is your life going to improve if you make that amount of money? Because I see so many women, and this is something I deal with in the CAN program. We do a full time and money workshop where we get you super clear and super grounded, because a lot of women are like, yeah, I want to make this, I want to make $200,000. And I'm like, cool. Why do you want to make that amount of money? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, how are you going to spend that money? I don't know. And then I'm like, well, if you like, where did that goal come from? Oh, somebody just told me that's how much money I needed to make. And I'm like, okay, but like, why do you want that amount of money? How is your life going to get better once you have that amount of money? What are the luxuries you're going to invest in? What is your life experience going to look like, right? Like, we've never actually thought about these details. We're just like, oh, I just wanted that and I didn't know why. No wonder why you're not getting to your destination. You have no idea why you even want to go there. So you can't even see what it's going to be like when you get there, right? So I see so many women get into that place where either they don't know Or they have this, it's like a secret inside of themselves where they know what they want, but they're too scared to admit it. Because if they admit it, then, oh God, people are going to judge them, or something really bad's going to happen, or they're going to get there and then all of a sudden everything's going to fall apart. And they get into this place where they start to then minimize it and they talk themselves out of wanting something so big and beautiful. Why are you doing that? Like, why are we wasting any time doing that? I want you to talk yourself in to what you want, not talk yourself out of it. Be the woman who is audacious, who is bold, who is unapologetic about what she wants and doesn't need to justify it to anybody, right? Like when people say, why do you want these big things? I don't know you an explanation for why I want what I want. I want it, right? Like I always ask for what I want in every aspect of my life, and I am clear on what I want. And this can be as simple as checking into a hotel. The things that I ask for when I go into a hotel, because I've done a lot of traveling, and you would be shocked how many times people say yes to me. And I say, first and foremost, where's the bigger room, right? Where's the room with a beautiful view? Where's the quiet room? Where's the room with a spa tub? Where's the room with the most comfortable bed, right? I literally ask for this every single time. And 99% of the time, I get exactly what I want. And people are like, we love that you just asked for what you want. Yeah, we have this room. Nobody booked it for tonight. It's like our residential suite. This has literally happened to me because I asked for what I want and I don't apologize for it. Like, well, what's the worst they're going to say? No. Okay, who cares, right? I might get like a junior suite. Perfect. It's better than what I paid for, right? Like, why not just ask? I don't care about hearing no. The worst you can tell me is no. Fine, I'll keep it moving. I'm going to hear a yes somewhere else, right? When I go into job interviews, like before I started my business, I would ask for exactly what I wanted because I knew what I wanted. And then if they weren't able to meet me there, well, if you want me, here's what I need. And if you can meet me here, I'm a yes. And then they were always able to meet me there, right? Like when they see the value in what you have to bring to the table because you're certain about what you have to offer, of course, they're going to be able to meet your requirements if that is possible, right? So I don't ever settle for less. I always ask for exactly what I want because I'm clear on what I want. And I have no apologies about being bold enough and audacious enough and irritating enough. And oh God, who does that girl think she is for asking for that? I am that bitch. I ask for what I want and I don't say sorry for that, right? So at some point, if you want to step into creating the success you desire, living your best life, you're going to have to start vocalizing what you really want and not minimize and keep a secret of what you actually want. Let that out, put it out into the world, put it out into the universe. Let yourself be heard. Let your wants and your desires and your needs be vocalized. Put energy and vision behind it, right? Okay. So when we are in this place of really understanding what we're saying to ourselves, where we want to go, getting into all aspects of alignment. The next step in this is to really put it into action. Are you ready? I'm about to teach you a formula that I teach to all the women inside of the CAM program. I call this the Diva formula. This is one of my favorite signature growth formulas because this is where it all comes into play. So Diva stands for define, visualize, and action. So when we are going into the place of saying, okay, I've got it. I've defined it. Here's what I want and why. Here's where I want to go. Here's the destination. Here's who I need to be to get there. Then you close your eyes, just like we did in our day one visualization, and you play it all out. You see, okay, we're going to do this in a second. So if you're like, okay, I don't know how to do that, right? I got you. Don't worry. So you're going to close your eyes. You're going to see it all. And then what that's going to do is reveal the action steps because you just saw it. You just saw what it's like to actually go to the place. You went to the final where somebody's there holding the checkered flag. And this can be, once again, work. It can be a vacation. It can be buying a house. It can be whatever it is that you want to create. It doesn't matter. You can literally apply this formula because this formula takes all of the drama and the uncertainty out of getting where you want to go. And once you learn this, you're going to get there so much faster. So it takes like to me, this is the fun way to get where you want to go because you're always like, ooh, what do I want? Ooh, what would it be like to get there? Ooh, let's look and dream about, oh my God, I'm there. And then you open your eyes and you're like, let's go, right? Like it's a really fun way to do life. And I think about when we want to do life, right? Like, why does everything have to be so hard and painful? Why do we create so much stress and drama about doing what we want to do? And I think about like sometimes when I go with my girlfriends and we want to plan and do stuff, and there's always that one person in the group that makes it so hard. It has so much drama. It's like, dude, we're going to show up and we're going to have a really good time. Like, why are you already having so much drama about this, right? So when you get to that place where you start having fun and you start just being a diva and just visualizing what you want without apology, you're just thinking about it, you're just spending so much time there, your success is going to become inevitable because you see it, right? So this is going to be a very powerful action generating formula that is going to help you create belief, that is going to fuel you to operate at your highest and most powerful level. So let's play with this. I'm going to draw this out on the whiteboard, and I want to give you two very specific examples of how to apply this formula in real time. So I want you to think about something that you want. So you can even take the example that we did in the day one visualization. I'm going to drink some water really quick. So you can take that example and you can apply this formula to it, but just make it something that you really want to start focusing on now, because we want to create your action plan. So that way, when this challenge is over, you've already started creating your whole entire vision. You know exactly what you want to do. So you can just start taking immediate action. That is my goal for you. That is why I named my program the CAN program, because we take confident action now. That is what the CAN acronym stands for. So when we are in that place of defining it, right? So define, visualize, and action. Okay, so the what plus why. We're going to start here. Okay, so the reason why I created this formula is because, as I mentioned on day one, I feel like so many of us drive through life with a dirty windshield. We don't have a clear destination. We don't know why we want to go. We don't have a map to get us there. And no wonder we get lost along the way. No wonder we feel disconnected from ourselves. No wonder why we're like, oh, but look what she has, because we're not actually clear on what we even want. So this formula is designed to get you to your destination with ease and clarity and certainty. And I encourage you to apply this daily for focused results. Okay. So we're going to start off by making your plan, looking at your what and your why. So what do you want to do and why do you want to do it? Then we're going to visualize getting there and how you feel along the way. And then you're going to take action to execute your plan. So the result of this daily application is you're going to create clarity and certainty. You're going to create confidence and trust that it's happening. And you're going to create that momentum and motivation to keep going and keep following through. Making sense? Okay. I want you to think about anytime you do something new for the first time, your brain might think it's weird. Your brain might reject it. Your brain might be like, I don't understand this. Give this a chance and try it. Try it again and again and again. Let your brain think it's weird. Let your brain not understand it, because at some point it's going to click. This is what I see happening with the women that I work with. They're like, oh my God, that diva formula is so good. Because then they're like, what do I want to do in my, okay, cool, visualize. Okay, I got to go, right? It's so, and it just gets faster and faster and faster every single time that you do this. So your brain might be like, oh, this is a waste of time. This is stupid. This won't work, right? But I promise you, once your brain can start thinking in this flow, it's going to change everything for you, because this is going to get so vivid and this is going to fuel your belief in possibility. Because once again, there's impossibility, possibility, and possibility. This is taking you from impossible to possible to inevitable, right? So once you believe it's possible, it's going to become inevitable. This is the way that you talk yourself into achieving any goal and spend time living in that beautiful done energy. Because once again, you're going to see it. You're going to feel that done in your body, just like we did in the day one visualization. So I encourage you to really get intentional here, because once again, we take action based on how we do or do not feel. So this is going to get you into that place of certainty. Number one, creating action. Number one, attracting feeling. Sorry. So that is going to be so pivotal. And once you feel that certainty, you're going to step into done energy, and then the actions you take are going to be so much more powerful. You're going to get to where you want to go so much more efficiently and faster. So this is going to save you so much time and energy in the long run. So this is something I don't want you to underestimate the power of these three simple steps. So many people want to make things really complex when it comes to doing mindset work and all that. It's like the more simple, the more your brain can just understand this quickly, the easier. Like, we don't need a 15-step process. You're never going to remember what it is. But can you remember DIVA, define, visualize, action? I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to get that, right? I'm going to say it a lot. Okay. So let's start off our first example with vacation, because I think we as humans, we just love to travel. It's so fun to think about going somewhere and just living our best life, right? So I want to use an example, because one woman that I just did a session with, she ended up booking a trip to Bali to go on a women's retreat after our session, because that's what her most successful life looked like at this point. I encourage you to do the same, right? So I want to use her example of going to Bali, and we're just going to paint some vision here. And where her inspiration had come from was actually watching Eat, Pray, Love. And I found the same thing. I didn't go to Bali after watching Eat, Pray, Love. I did go to Bali on my honeymoon, but I went to Sri Lanka to have my own kind of Julia Roberts experience. And that was so freaking incredible, because I went to a women's retreat there. But so I want you to think about and it doesn't have to be Bali, right? But just think about somewhere you really want to go right now. What is your number one place? If you could get on an airplane, somebody handed you a ticket to your dream destination, where would that be? So you can pretend that's where we're going, right? But just for the sake of our example today, we're gonna pretend we're going to Bali. Okay. All right. So let's say you want to go to Bali like my client, because you saw Eat, Pray, Love, and you've been called to go there ever since. You would just want to live your best free life. You want to picture yourself on that bike riding through those fields. You want to go picture yourself talking to your healer who's going to help you process the pain from your past and do, the most remarkable things that you're going to do in your life. You want to do yoga and meditation every single day and get into the space where you have a clear mind and just release any stress and anxiety from your body. You want to stay in a jungle villa where every single day you're waking up to the sounds of monkeys playing in the treetops, just swishing in the trees. You want to nourish your body with really beautiful food, clean tropical foods that leave you feeling energized and healthy. You want to have a lot of solo time. So this is a solo adventure to think about who you are and what you really want at this point in your life. You want to read a lot of books while you're there to feed your mind. And you want to feel like you're actually taking this moment for you, because this is something you've always wanted to do for yourself and you deserve it. No guilt, just yes, right? So you want to have nowhere else to be during this experience in Bali because you just want to be present with you. So now imagine this is your reality. So you got clear. You know why you want to go there. You know you deserve it. You know you just want to have this experience being alone and still with yourself. And I want you to close your eyes and just visualize for a second what it would be like to be there. You're getting on the airplane. You have that buzz of excitement running through you. You land in, is it Dinesbar? Am I saying that right? Then you get on, you get in your taxi, you arrive at your villa, you open the door, you hear the monkeys, and you're like, oh my God, I'm here. Do a little happy dance. You hear the breeze. You start to think, oh my God, I'm so ready for lunch, right? You eat your lunch, you go on your bike ride, you meet with your healer, you have a best night's sleep ever. You wake up the next morning, you do your yoga, you do your meditation, you sink into a book, you have nowhere else to be. Time just feels infinite, and you get to do this for day after day after day. And then you come home and you are the most refreshed, recharged, revitalized, connected, grounded version of you. And you're like, oh my God, that was the best thing I've ever done for myself. I can't wait to do it again. That was the best use of my time. Like, thank you, me, for giving me this gift. And you can't wait to tell everybody about it when you get home. You are just so in love with this experience. You are so excited to post all these pictures on Instagram and inspire people to do the same. You are just in this place where you are arriving home, a changed woman, living her best life. You know who you are. You know what you want. You're clear. You did that in a few days, right? You saw it. What did that feel like? Because I just felt like I was in Bali for a second. Okay, we did our visualization. You went to Bali. How'd it feel? Okay, so now what do we do with this? Okay, let's do a pretend action plan, right? So you saw it, you visualized it. Now, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to research flights. On average, if I was looking at flights from Los Angeles to Bali, it's ranged between $800 to $1,300. You look into villas. Those can be as low as $50 a night up to $300-$400 a night for a luxury villa. I know on our honeymoon, we had a luxury villa where literally we pressed a button and a butler named Yoga came and gave us whatever we wanted. It was incredible. Highly recommend, right? I want you to make your budget and your timeline. So if we were to say you wanted to go to Bali for 7 days, right? And it is $150 a night for the hotel, right? So 150. Your flight is 1,000. Let's play with that, right? Let's say you wanted a massage for, let's say like you wanted multiple massages, right? Let's just go big. So we're going to do 250 for massages. You know you're going to eat while you're there. So let's say you're going to spend 700 on food. Let's say you are going to do some sort of excursion while you're there. We'll just pretend that's $100. And you know you want to drive your own car and you're going to park at the airport. So that's going to be like 175. So if you were to do this experience, you've now created the budget for yourself. You've seen what this actually is going to look like. So the total for this, if we were to take this math, is going to be 32, let's see, 3275. Okay. If you just saw that number and you're like, shit, okay, that is like way more than what I was expecting. Okay, let's take this down, right? You are in charge. You are in charge. You create your most successful life. So 3275 is too much for you. What if it ends up being $100 a night for a hotel? And maybe it's 600 for food. And maybe you're only going to get one massage, right? Your flight's still 1,000. And you're going to have your friend drop you off at the airport. So that's going to be $0 for the parking. And you're still going to do your excursion, right? So Now we're at 2,500. Okay. So let's say you see 2,500, you're like, yes. And we can even lean this out more, right? But let's just, for funsies, we're going to just follow through with the action plan. You're like, okay, 2,500. I'm set. And I want to go in the next 12 months. So at this time next year, I'm going to be in Bali and I'm going to be on that bike. I'm going to be riding through the rice fields and I'm going to be drinking that cat cappuccino. Because did you know that's really a thing? They literally have these weird little cats that poop and they make cappuccino out of it. I tried it. It's really good. So that's what you want to do, right? So now you know in 12 months you're going to get there. So let's take this 2,500 and we're going to divide that by 52. And that equals a weekly savings of $48 per week. So $48 per week. And you're going to be in Bali in a year. For $48 per week, you can go to Bali in a year. And we can work this on a million different ways to make this financially work for you. But $48 a week, okay, now you just handed yourself responsibility back over your spending, right? Because do you want to go to the bar and have a drink with your friends and maybe that's going to be like 40 bucks for a couple drinks? I know that's what it's like here in LA, right? Or do you want to dedicate that $48 to your Bali fund? Do you want to make that impulse buy on Amazon because you had a bad day and you're spending to fill the void and you need that instant hit of dopamine, so you're shopping, right? I see a lot of my clients doing that, right? And next thing you know, it's like a $200 Amazon purchase, and you do that 4 times a month. That's $800 a month that you're spending on just empty Amazon purchases of shit you don't need. Would you rather be spending that on going to Bali? Because you can. So seeing the math holds you accountable for following through with your plan, and it holds you accountable for your spending decisions. So do you really need this drink? Do you really need to go out with your girls? Do you really want to do that? Or do you want to stay home for the night and dedicate that $48 to Bali? So this is why using the Diva formula helps you live your most successful life. You're going to step into living this way because you're taking accountability for it. You're shifting, right? Now you've seen your action plan. It is totally doable. And even if $2,500 is too much, once again, we can rework the math to get you there. So this is how you ensure you are setting yourself up for success. So let's say next we're going to look at, let's say you're going through the interview process right now. I know a lot of women that I'm working with are interviewing. It is rough out there. So let's talk about getting the job. Okay. So now the first thing that we're going to look at is, what do I want and why, right? So who do you want to work for? Insert the companies, right? You might make a list. You might have one specific one that you're targeting. Remember, we used the example of what happened to my client, Nicole. She had a very specific beauty company she wanted to work for. And for 3 months, we got crystal clear. Then she ended up getting the job. Literally, there was no position available when we started on this. The position opened up. She ended up getting it. She got so clear there, right? So I want you to think about, I want to work for blank. I want to make this amount of money. And why? Why do you want to make that amount of money? What is your life going to look like when you actually make that amount of money? I want to wear this specific title. Why? Why do you want to wear that job title? Why do you want to be a VP? Why do you want to be a CEO? Why do you want to be a CFO? Why do you want to be a CMO? Right? Like, what is it about these titles? Why do you want to be a CEO? What is it about that title that really makes you feel like, yeah, that's the one? Oh, yeah. Because then what's going to happen is, let's say they offer you, you want to be in an executive role and they offer you a managerial position. You're going to be like, I don't settle for less. I wanted this title, right? And that's where negotiating starts. So I want you to think about, I want to work from where? Do you want to work permanently from home? Do you want to be back in the office? Do you want to be traveling all the time? Where do you want to work from? And then I want you to think about, what perks do you want? Do you want a bonus that's guaranteed? Do you want stock options? Do you want a wellness package? Do you want Friday massages? That's what I had when I worked at Smashbox. It was great. This lady literally came over and rubbed my back at my desk. I was like, is this real life? Do you want a car budget, a clothing allowance? Do you want to be in first class travel? Do you want unlimited sick time? Do you want multiple weeks of vacation? Do you want permanent summer Fridays? Like, what do you want? Write your dream list out. They might say no to a lot of these things, but at least you've thought it through. At least you're certain and you're in that attraction energy, right? And then I want you to think about, once again, we're still defining, the job I want to do is blank. So what do you actually want to do? Because for a lot of people, we'll look at a job description, but that job description is not the job we actually end up doing, especially when we get to executive levels. We're ending up in meetings for 40 hours a week. We're people managing. We're dealing with all the drama and the political bullshit. So that job that we're hired to do, that's never on the description. So you've got to make sure you are clear there so you can talk about that during the interview process. And then, how do you want to feel as you go to work at this job? Nobody ever thinks about the value of actually how we want to feel every day when we go to work. Do you want to feel valued, appreciated? Do you want to feel stress-free and calm? Do you want to feel like you are just so appreciated? Do you want to feel respected? Do you want to feel admired? Do you want to feel confident? Do you want to feel secure? What do you want to feel? Because as we talked about yesterday, I know when I got to the place of being at my dream job, making multiple six figures, doing all the things, traveling the world, I hated how I felt. That was not it. And I never had thought about how I wanted to feel at a job until I actually started doing this professional development work. Because then you can automatically see, oh, they want, like, for example, I interviewed for this crazy position working for this group of sisters who has a makeup line. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about. And they wanted me to be on call 24/7. And they wanted, I would have to be a part of a reality show. And I was like, I don't want any of that. I don't want to feel like I can't turn off. I don't want to feel like I have to start taking calls and having a camera crew. No, that is not how I want to feel every day. My privacy is important to me. Having time to shut off and have, alone time to decompress and work is very important to me. Not in alignment, that job is rejected, right? So I want you to think about, because for a lot of us, where we get into that situation, and this happened with that family of sisters, the price tag that that job came along with was very attractive and it was tempting. I'm not going to lie. But then it would have cost me my work-life balance. It would have cost me my sanity. It would have cost me my peace. And I protect my peace at all costs. I don't subscribe to anything that is going to take away and subtract from my peace, because that for me is one of the most important things in my life at this point of my life. So how do you want to feel every day when you go to work? Now, let's think about, how do you want to work when you actually go to work? What is the working style? Do you want to work in a loft? Do you want to work in an office? Do you want to work at home? In the peace of your own home, right? How many days do you want to work a week? And then do you want to travel for work? If so, where do you want to go, right? So get clear there. You see how many questions I just offered you? Because once again, going into the interview process, this is going to help you immediately weed out all of the jobs that are not in alignment with what you want to feel, how you want to be, how you want to, go through life every single day. And it's going to make it so much easier to attract in the exact opportunity that is meant for you. So now I want you to close your eyes once you have this answer and visualize it. And I want you to then go into your action. I want you to think about, okay, my first step is I'm going to get clear on the value that I bring to the table. So that way there's no lag time. The second this company presents itself and shows me this exact opportunity that's meant for me, I know exactly how I can make their company more valuable. So that way I will feel super confident, super certain, and super secure as I go into the interview process. I'm going to make a pitch deck for them. So that way I'm already ready. I'm gonna have my interview updated, or my resume updated. I'm gonna have all my references ready to go. I'm gonna do the daily mindset work on myself. So that way I'm staying in that energy of confidence and certainty, because I know this is my master attracting energy, Elise told me. Because remember, 80% is going to be mindset of your success, 20% is action. So this is key to ensure you don't slip into doubt. Okay, I'm going to make sure I reach out to my network and let them know, hey, this is like my dream job. So that way, when somebody sees that job become available, they're like, oh, Elise was looking for that job. I have to tell her. I have to tell her, right? I'm going to connect with the person that's hiring and send them my pitch deck and send them a personalized note telling them how my presence at their company is going to make their company better, because I am that woman who is fearless and pitches herself without apology, because I know what I want and I want that. And I'm not going to say sorry for that, right? And I'm going to say no to anything that's not a fit for what I'm looking for, because I don't attract in things that are in and not in alignment, and I don't waste my time. Okay, there's your action plan. How does that feel? Very different than being in the place of like, oh God, this recruiter messaged me. I have to take this. I have to take this. I don't even know what this job is, right? Like when I have a woman, when I was going through the process of hiring, and I've hired hundreds of women in my career, when I had a woman who was that certain, and she knew and she had done her research and she showed me how she was going to make my company more valuable, you better believe she got the job, versus the person that literally hadn't even looked at the company bio, didn't have any clue who I was, didn't have any clue of how she would add value to the company. It was just like, yeah, I like really need a job. Can you help me out? I'm like, no, bye, get out of here. Right? So no matter what you want in your life, this formula applies. So I want you to start using this to get the job, to launch a business, to take the trip, to buy the house, to create the financial cushion, to have the family, to live your best life, to buy a new car. I don't care. I want you to figure out what you want and then start grounding it in, who do I need to be to get there, and how do I apply this formula to get there, right? Because you saw how clear, how specific, how certain you get when you start stepping into this. Is this clear? Okay, if not, please send me a message. I'm here as your coach to help you through this. So soulmakeupcustomercare@gmail.com. I want you to be crystal clear on this. So if you're not clear, let me help you get clear. Okay. All right. So let's recap this. So the number one success generating feeling is certainty. And when you feel certain, you will step into the most beautiful success inevitability. So when we stay in that certainty, you are going to do the mindset work to get there. You're going to speak to yourself through the lens of your future self, who's already living her most successful and best life, who's already done it. She's championing herself. She's fighting for her success. She's saying, yes, you can do this. You're staying out of the how and the when, and you're just releasing and trusting that it's happening, and you're applying the diva formula to get clear and into action. Okay. So you have one job. one job leaving this challenge is to get clear, to be that bitch, and to go make it happen for yourself. Deal? I literally have chills as I'm saying that because I know you're going to do it. So, can you commit to that? Can we make a deal? You and I, right here. It's just us because only you can do this for you, right? So, can you commit to you? As if you can, you just sealed the deal with your success guarantee. You are your success guarantee. Do you realize that? Realize the power of that. Just sit with that right now. I am my success guarantee. Yes, right? So there's nothing stopping you from giving you everything you've ever wanted. I've given you the how in this challenge. You got a lot of tools, right? So be that woman for yourself. Don't do it for anybody else. Do it for you. Stop waiting for somebody else to do it for you because only you can do this for you. So take charge of your life right now. Don't wait. Do this inner work on yourself needed to create the success that I know you are capable of because you can. And when you believe that you can, you will. Okay. I hope this has been helpful. I have loved every second of spending these last 3 days with you. I am really in a place where I want you to see that you can do this. And if you can't see that, once again, please reach out to me for coaching. I've got your back every single step of the way. And if you want to go deeper into this work and you're going through this challenge of like, oh my God, I really need to commit and I want to take this deeper, I want to get serious about my growth, please come coach with me. I offer a 3-month program. It's called the CAN program, where we dedicate 3 months to your personal and professional development. So this is the vehicle that is going to be what gets you to where you want to go. So every single week we work together in virtual sessions, and I have 4 spots opening up at the end of this month. So if you've wanted to coach with me, now is your time. Do not wait. Take action, because once again, you're only going to wait and delay your success. Why are we wasting time here, right? So I'm opening up my consultation calendar next week, and I would love to invite you on to have a really powerful conversation about your future. So let's talk about who you want to be and how I can help you become her, because this is really where it all starts. You've experienced it through our 3 days together, right? So if this is an area where you really want to go and where you want to grow and where you want to dedicate and make that investment in yourself, let's definitely have a conversation about it, because I'm going to help you learn how to get exactly into this place and find that feeling of done energy in your body and create that belief in yourself and create that beautiful trust. And the most remarkable thing that happens in this process of us working together is a new you is going to be born. The most beautiful you, still with the parts of you that are meant to move forward, but this is going to be a new you with that beautiful belief in herself, that trust in herself, that confidence, and that secure mindset grounded in the habits that are going to set you up for success. A you that knows how to take confident action now because she knows what she wants. She knows where she needs to be to get there, and she knows how to move herself out of her own way, right? A you that is free of her limits and her fears and her doubts. And when they do come up, you know how to work through them. A you that is feeling good enough once and for all and not doubting her enoughness. A you that takes luxurious care of yourself and refuses to settle for less. And a you that is unapologetically living her best life and inspiring everybody else in her life to do the same, right? Like, that's what I love to do. I'm like, let's just all live our best lives together, right? And doing the things that actually bring you joy every single day versus making those things a bottom of the list priority. No, those are going to go to the top because you deserve to live your best life. So get ready to step into that, and to get started working together, visit soulmakeup.com. You'll book your free strategy session with me. It's 1 hour long. And once you click the link, you're going to secure your time to talk. And then it's going to ask you a couple of questions about essentially where you want to be, what's working, what's not working. And just answering those questions alone has the potential to create so much valuable insight for you that will help you start growing now. So definitely answer those questions for yourself, right? And then during the call, we're going to take that awareness into the stratosphere. And I'm going to walk you through what I call my exclusive growth accelerator formula. And this is really designed to reveal all of your growth opportunities in real time. So you're going to know by the end of the call exactly where you need to grow. So just get ready to see and feel the difference in yourself after an hour together where you and I have that conversation. It is so powerful. So I cannot wait to help you unlock all of your potential and support you in getting to the next level in whatever that looks like for you. So let's make that happen. And once again, thank you. Thank you for spending these 3 days with me. And I want you to go celebrate yourself. I want you to just give yourself a pat on the back, go treat yourself to something, because once again, you had a million other places that you could be, but you dedicated 3 hours of your life, if not a little more, to working on yourself and doing the homework outside of our session and in this challenge to really help yourself grow now. So you deserve to celebrate you, because you didn't have to be here, but you did. You were here. You did this for yourself. And I am so proud of you. All right, my love, let's definitely keep in touch. And once again, email me for coaching. You've got me in your back pocket, soulmakeupcustomercare@gmail.com. I've got you. All right, I will talk to you soon, my love, and great work again. I'm so proud of you. We did it.